could be on a level that approaches Hitler.
I hope they are not insulated from the cruelty that they brought into office.
From day one, we're going to have a type of civil war.
He actually wanted to be a dictator.
Last time he had guardrails.
Hitler, Mussolini, Hirohito, they all lost.
A lot of innocent people are going to suffer.
Do you think America will still be a democracy in 4 years' time?
I don't know.
Washington is a really, really weird city right now. I'd say that it feels eerie. You can just feel in the air is thick with the sense that something is about to happen. I was talking about it with the producer here, and we both said how much, in a weird sort of way, as a city, it almost feels a bit like the sort of pre-lockdown period in different cities around the world, when you just sort of knew something was about to happen, there was something inevitable and inexorable about it. And it was almost as if each place, including this place right now, is hunkering down, with one big exception, or two big exceptions really. One, the city has been inundated with obviously MAGA types from all over America, but also all over the world. Every sort of odd and end of the alt-right movement is in the city right now, partying, drinking, jubilant, enjoying their moment, savoring their moment. And today, for today at least, it has, as always with Trump, attracted that kind of equal and opposite reaction. All of the people that surround me right now going down to the Lincoln Memorial at this People's March. And they say about 50,000 people are going to turn up. There are other events as well around the country. And we're going to go and talk to a few of them and just get a sense of, because we've talked so much about MAGA and all the people who voted for Trump, where the anti-Trump feeling in the country, which is still massive and vast and deep, where they think their movement and their type of politics is going to go in the next 4 years.
This is a fascist regime taking the reins of power, and people need to recognize that, and they need to protest it, yes, but they got to go beyond protest. We have to say we will not take this and build a movement of resistance.
But he won an election. You have to take it.
Hitler won 2 elections, and unfortunately the German people accepted that.
Is it?
And you can look at what that came down to.
Could you understand how some people watching this, listening to this, might find the comparison offensive, in the sense that Hitler was responsible for one of the worst genocides that have ever taken place? I mean, Donald Trump isn't going to be doing anything like that.
Well,
even if you think he's a terrible person, he's not going to be committing a genocide.
If Donald Trump does what he is promising to do, it could be on a level that approaches Hitler.
With the Holocaust, a level...
I know about the Holocaust. Really know about the Holocaust. And it came out of German imperialism. Now, U.S. he's saying he's going to deport tens of millions of immigrants. He's going to sweep them all out. He's going to put them in concentration camps.
Maybe there's a lot of people who might not even like Trump, but hear that and just think, that just sounds so dramatic to compare him to Adolf Hitler. And actually offensive to compare stuff he might do to the Holocaust.
People need to look at what he says he's going to do. People need to think about what that would mean for millions and millions of people in this country and millions more around the world. The man is now talking about he's going to take Greenland and the Panama Canal and refuses to rule out military force doing that. This does call to mind imperialist aggression that the world probably thought it was beyond.
Do you think America will still be a democracy in 4 years' time?
I don't know.
You really don't know? You think it might not be?
I think it might not be.
Well, it might depend on what the hallmarks of democracy are, right? I mean, if he shuts down the press, the democracy has a chance actually to not thrive, right? And we know that Trump is actively looking to suppress the press in some form or fashion.
You've got the First Amendment. He won't be able to shut the press down, will he?
Oh, he can make it really hard. He's already doing that.
He actually wanted to be a dictator before, and, the people that were in his cabinet prevented him, and those people are gone. The only people who are there now are loyalists who are yes men ready to go.
Do you sometimes feel like you don't understand your country, or there's big parts of it you don't understand?
That's always been the case. I think that the quiet part is being said out loud and proud.
So what would you say to someone who said, well, you're wearing dump Trump. He got elected 3 months ago.
I'm still speechless. I can't digest that it even happened, and I just want to say to them, wait. wait, and you're going to find out, and you're going to lose a lot, and a lot of innocent people. A lot of people don't even think about it. They just like the guy they saw on TV, and they think that he's going to defend the little guy, and they're going to be crushed under his regime.
Do you think people who voted for Trump are brainwashed?
Are
Brainwashed.
I don't think they're much in the realm of critical thinkers, or, it's like they would believe it if Hillary Clinton went to Mars, like on the front of the New York Post or whatever.
Your sign says, Trump voters, I hope everything you voted for happens to you.
Exactly.
And what do you mean by that?
Because people who voted for Trump voted for a deeply anti-human and common sense platform. So this includes things such as there were a lot of voters who have undocumented family members who voted for a president who promises to deport them. Yeah. So somebody who voted against their own family, I would hate to see somebody get deported, but I hope that happens to them. They voted for a candidate who is deeply cruel, and I hope they are not insulated from the cruelty that they brought into office.
So you think, in a way, what you're saying is you hope they get what's coming to them?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Do you understand how some people might feel that was quite ungenerous? That maybe they didn't understand the full implications of what they were voting for?
They should at this point, considering that we had an entire first administration with him, as well as everything he has done since. The man tried to overturn an election. Like, if you are not able to compute, at this point, it's willful ignorance if they're not able to compute that.
Well, I mean, having interviewed quite a lot of people in that position, most of them now believe, as you know, that he didn't try to overturn it, and that he did win it.
I know, it's a shame. It's a shame.
Do you understand how someone might get into that situation or be in that way of thinking?
I do, but I don't think I have a lot of sympathy for them.
You don't?
I don't.
There's a lot of signs saying that Trump is a fascist. Do you agree that he's a fascist? Do you think he's a fascist?
Absolutely.
Why do you think that?
Well, if you look at who he's surrounding through himself in his cabinet, you're looking at members who are ready to say yes to him, who are not there to hold him accountable, who have not critiqued him in any sort of way, in any normal sense that any Democrat or previous Republicans as well have done. And so he's using that to exert power over the government, to look at the way as well he's looking to imperialize our government through taking Greenland, taking the Panama Canal, etc.
We have re-elected the guy that should be in jail for what happened on the 6th. He's now going to be the president of the United States again, and he's nothing but a gangster.
In that sense, it wasn't a coup, it was simply an election.
It's the result of the coup.
How do you think it can be that a majority of the electorate, those who voted, chose to elect a man who, as you say, very clearly before the eyes of the world, tried to overturn an election?
How do you ever understand people voting against their own interests? It's bewildering.
Do you think America will still be a democracy in 4 years?
I have grave concerns about our republic, and I think we will pull through this, but I think the next 4 years are going to be tumultuous. I think that from day one we're going to have a type of civil war. It's going to be a tense and quite possibly violent situation.
The American left, American liberals, they're still trying to piece it all together, right? They still can't believe that that their country is where it is. They're still going through the 5 stages of grief, very, very clear. And so, in a way, they can say what they want, they can do what they want, they can gather. They're going to have to recognize, of course, that Donald Trump actually won't be their opponent. The weird thing is he will become a lame duck the moment he's inaugurated. The bandwagon will already start to move on. In a sense, their real fight is not going to be with Trump. It's whoever replaces him or whoever succeeds him as the kind of heir to MAGAism, assuming MAGA is still a kind of going concern in 4 years. But there's something else. One thing you can see, and I think that what is amazing is that even now, the American left, American progressives, they still cannot know, they still don't know how to deal with him. And he still fries their brains, really. He still completely discombobulates them. And when you are, and this is Trump's great ability, this is his great ability, right, is that he makes his opponents sound hysterical, even when there is plenty to be hysterical about. So when the argument still is about whether he's a fascist or not, when you've got people comparing him to Hitler, what it does, and what it has always done, what it's done for 8 years, is that it basically lets him off the hook, because he can say that I'm not that, even as extreme as he might be. And they're going to have to try and find a way of getting a better political critique. And actually the better one, the better one that you do see on some of the placards here, the much stronger line of attack, I think, for the American left in the years to come, is the oligarchical one, is that he has surrounded himself with billionaires, people just like him. There was a great tiny little placard I just noticed. Wasn't talking about fascism, wasn't talking about authoritarianism. These are concepts which go over most people's heads. It was, there are no red states, there are no blue states, we're all getting screwed. That's the message that the American left needs to just take with both hands over the next couple of years, and not get distracted and discombobulated in the way that Trump so uniquely is able to do, and is able to make them.
The Newsagents. This is a Global Player original podcast.